All right, we're going to do this nice bedtime story because we realize the U.S. has had a tantrum, and the special edition briefing book for the President of the United States was designed as calming them down, helping them understand the issue in simple terms. So we're just going to read this aloud, children, and follow along. George, you can interrupt if you have questions anytime. This is the planet Earth. It is where you live. The Earth is heated up by the sun. We are lucky there is life on Earth. We can thank God. This is a note to George. God made the Earth and saw that it was good. We do not think he is crazy about you wrecking it. Life on Earth is possible because it is not too hot and not too cold. It is kept just right by something called a carbon cycle. Life is also possible because there is air to breathe. For both of these things, we should thank God and the plants and the carbon cycle. Carbon dioxide is sucked in by plants, and the plants give us oxygen. For a long time, the carbon people put into the air was pretty much in balance with the carbon sucked up by the plants. This is called the carbon balance. A long time ago, when there were dinosaurs, the dinosaurs stomped down the trees. George, did you ever wonder where the oil and coal and gas come from? It was from those trees stomped down by the dinosaurs. That's why they are called fossil fuels, and they are full of all that carbon stored up by the trees a very long time ago, even before there were people on Earth. Note to George, the 7 days in Genesis is not a real timeline. There were not people on Earth at the same time as the dinosaurs. Humans are very clever. We figured out how to get energy from the old trees. When we burned up those old trees, all that carbon from millions of years of the sun's energy got released fast. The problem is that we put out so much carbon so fast that all our friends, the green leafy things, and the oceans, and all the places carbon went to keep things in balance, could not keep up. Carbon is out of balance. What happens when carbon is out of whack? Lots of bad things happen. Big storms, more droughts, more forest fires, more floods, a melting Arctic, and no polar bears. Note to George, we know you do not worry much about stuff like this because you have lots and lots of money, and you don't much care about polar bears, and it will be cool when there's no ice at the North Pole and you can drive big boats right over the top of the world to make more money. And it is true you and your friends can likely get somewhere safe and leave all those people who aren't worth saving anyway behind, because you figure if God loved them, they'd have their own SUV by now. And if they are lucky, they get to go into one of those cool stadiums where nice people bring them stuff. But there are storms coming, so big, even you cannot get away from them. Run, George, run. The big storm is coming. It is people all around the world telling you to stop being a bad, bad boy. Stop being selfish. Start sharing all your toys, and stop spoiling it for everyone else. Tell all your friends, all the nice people at Exxon and Chevron, that the party's over. No more fossil fuels to waste. No more time to waste. Note to George, there is some really good stuff to read on this at Matthew chapters 5 to 7. It is called the Sermon on the Mount. You should read it soon. This is planet Earth. This is where you live. Good night, George.
Do you think the American delegation will go?
I hope they'll take the big picture. After all, George W. Bush turned to Bill Clinton and his own father, George H.W. Bush, in the wake of the tsunami to call them both to do humanitarian work. This is humanitarian work. And after Katrina, President George W. Bush called on Bill Clinton to help do humanitarian work. This is humanitarian work. This is the work of a statesman. We did not invite Bill Clinton here because he's a politician. We invited him here because he's a world leader. And we wanted to have as much attention on the substantive, critical, life-threatening issues of climate change. We wanted them here as an elevating call to action and we wanted them to reach into the United States, where the issue has been very poorly explained in the U.S. media, which has been dominated by industry interests and deliberate campaigns of spin and distortion for a very long time.